Welcome back to the forum of Scranton School Board candidates who are running on the May 18th primary election. This is a forum presented by the League of Women Voters, the University of Scranton's Political Science Department, and the new Center for Ethics and Excellence in Public Service at the University of Scranton. Um, the next question that we will be asking, we will start with Katie Gilmartin answering, and then we will go from there alphabetically through all of the candidates. And so Katie, the question is, how can the school board promote, support, and assure diversity, equity, and inclusion within the district's staff and within every school?
Thank you, Jean. This is such an important question and one on which we are focusing and truly beginning the very serious work at hand. Through the Pennsylvania School Board Association, there is a recommended equity policy. And when that came across to us, we were advised by PSBA and through our own research that it would be vital to do a lot of legwork before we were to implement a policy such as this, because we would be violating it from the get-go. So we certainly have a great deal of work to do. There is an equity committee convened right now. There is work through several organizations across the state with which we can communicate and partner. We just recently acquired human resources software that will be able to broaden our reach to candidates from different communities, different areas, really, as I said, broaden our reach. And we have such an opportunity to work with not only our local colleges and universities as we have been, but also to reach beyond our immediate borders and, get to larger cities, larger communities where we might be able to attract a more diverse population of teachers ready to begin their careers. But I also think we have an opportunity. There's a wonderful program. The name is totally escaping me right now, but one of our educators has presented to us where they are really working to communicate with students that they see have that spark to go into education. And that's something we can do right now. We can support programs like that and really be reaching out to students and encouraging them to go down that career path.
Thank you. Ty Holmes, the question goes to you. How can the school board promote, support, and assure diversity, equity, and inclusion within the district staff and within every school?
Thank you again, Jean. First and foremost, it starts off with just respecting the teachers that you have here. Again, everything starts with respect, taking care of them. One of the other ways that we can recruit and possibly make our teaching staff more diverse is by going to students who are currently in Scranton High who may not have the means to go to college and offering them, tuition reimbursement and saying, if you go to school, it's something like the military does. If you go, we'll pay for your school, but then you owe a certain amount of years. But we also can do this by going out and recruiting, actively recruiting, going to Philly, going to New York, going to Jersey, and asking people and teachers, showing them, doing a presentation saying, come up here, come see Scranton, get to meet some of the teachers. But we also have to do that by looking at the schools that we're closing, the highest minority school. That's not a good way of going, because people see that and immediately they're going, well, they don't really care about minorities. So you need to look and find ways to connect. And again, I work at the NEPA Youth Shelter. I'm a board member there, and talking to the kids there, when I asked them about how do they feel about the current district, they really truly feel like they don't have a voice. Like no one listens to them. So again, good news travels fast, bad news travels faster. It's going to be incredibly hard to get anyone to come to Scranton School District and work until we, first and foremost, take care of what we currently have, not just teachers, but also the students with the programs, busing, and other things that we are eliminating. And once we do start to do some of those things, we can look at programs like mentoring and teachers mentoring students who show an interest, who want to be teachers, and nurturing that so that we can hope to inspire them to be teachers. Kids will do what you can push them to do and show them what is respected and valued.
Thank you, Ty. the question out of Tucker Hodges.
Yes, thank you. I think that listening and understanding the community is the very biggest thing that we can do in this area. And, some of that involves creating committees and, and policy that's going to make sure that we are providing equitable pay for our teachers, equitable education opportunities for our students, and properly supporting all of our staff, examining the types of after school and other outreach programs that we might be able to provide for the community, and partnering with other areas and agencies within our community that can provide some of these services, and have a better understanding and already have some very strong links to parts of our community that might not be getting the attention that they need. And I think the biggest thing is continuing that conversation. I mean, we need to understand, and if we're listening to people and we're hearing that we're not doing what we need to be doing to make sure that our kids and our teachers aren't getting the kind of quality education that we should be providing, then we need to do better. And the only way that we can do better is to try to educate ourselves and to try to encourage that diversity and that conversation within our community. So we need to understand, we need to figure out what we're doing wrong. And the very first thing that you can do to learn what's going wrong is to have that conversation and listen to somebody. And when somebody tells you that you're not doing the right thing, then that's an indication that you can do better. And we need to find the ways that we can make that better. So we just need to keep that work going and keep the conversation going and do it. We need to get those teachers get the contract in, make sure that we're attracting quality teachers from all kinds of backgrounds, and encouraging that development within our community. So, thank you.
Thank you, Tucker. Sean McAndrew, the question to you. How can the school board, sorry, I lost my place. How can the school board promote, support, and assure diversity, equity, and inclusion within the district staff, as well as within every school?
Yeah, well, first we do have to listen to our community and our teachers and our staff, but we have to be proactive. We have to use the resources that are around us, like PSBA. We have to use, the community. We have to partner up with the organizations in our community. We have to partner up with the city. We have in the county, we have so many great organizations in our area that we can work together with. And this is going to be an ongoing learning, and we can't just, do it for a few months and stop. We have to continuously learn and improve on it every day. It's going to be an ongoing learning, and we have to keep improving and changing for the better. The equity committee was a huge step. I think that's going to be great for our district. We're starting to take some proactive steps there, which is great. Normally this district in the past has been reactive. This is something we've been starting to be proactive about. The HR recruiting thing, that's something we passed, that Katie brought up. It's a great tool that we're going to have to expand the applicants that we can get to come to apply to the district. So again, it's being proactive, and it's constantly listening, learning, and doing new things, and not just settling. We have to keep continuing this, because this is a big thing the district needs, and we have to just make sure this is something that's important, and just be proactive with it.
Thank you, Sean. Greg Popil, you're muted. Oh, you're muted again. You must have double hit.
How am I now?
Perfect.
Okay. One of the things that the voters should take a look at people who are talking about it, and take a look at people who are doing something about it. The group of candidates that we have chosen, the five of us that are running together, guess what? We have the first African-American person who's going to be on the school board. We have done something positive by doing this. Who do you think would be more successful in recruiting diversity? Somebody like me or somebody like Ty? Ty not only speaks it, does it, he lives it. So this is why I'm proud to run with a guy like Mr. Holmes. Secondly, take a look at the people who voted for the first non-white person to be on the school board, Gobal Patel. I voted for Mr. Patel, and I thought he was a wonderful person. I got to know him, and this is the type of actions that you have to do. You can't. It's one thing to talk about it. It's certainly another thing to stand up and do the right thing. We are the people in our group who are standing up and doing the right thing. And as far as diversity in the district is concerned, and we will do better once we're elected. Thank you.
Thank you. Tom Borthwick, the question to you. How can the school board promote, support, and assure diversity, equity, and inclusion within the school district staff as well as within every school?
So, Ty is actually being very humble because he's the president of the Lackawanna County chapter of the NAACP. And so working with Ty, and as Greg said, I'm very proud to be running with Ty, has given me a lot of perspective on what can be done. And we need community stakeholders to be involved in this kind of thing. We have a very large and growing minority population in terms of African Americans, in terms of the Hispanic community, and we have very large Nepalese and Indian populations in our district as well. So these groups need to be brought to the table. Their community leaders need to all be together with district leaders to talk about their concerns more directly. And when you see things like Ty alluded to with the closure of one of the most racially diverse buildings in the district, when there are most certainly other buildings that need probably more work, that's questionable. And we need to engage these parents and families directly. And we need to work together to find solutions that work for everyone. And in terms of recruitment, there's two important issues here. The first is, if we're going to advertise and say Philadelphia, where there's a larger minority population, and convince them to come to Scranton, we're not going to be able to convince anybody to come here if we're paying the abysmal salaries that we're paying. Nobody's going to uproot their life and move here if that's the case. So we need to make sure that if we're going to advertise in places like Philadelphia or New York, which I absolutely believe we should, we need to make it worth their while. So we need a staff that reflects our community. And just lastly, there were 2 middle management positions that were appointed by this board that were not advertised. You're not going to have minority representation in the school district if you don't even advertise jobs. So that's something that should also be changed. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. And Danielle Chesek, the question to you. How can the school board promote, support, and assure diversity, equity, and inclusion among the district staff as well as within every school?
So right now, as most people know, there isn't a whole lot of diversity within the staff and faculty within the district. It does not accurately reflect the student population. So with that, we can do all of the recruiting. We could, buy the best recruiting software, but at the end of the day, it's pretty much meaningless. If we're not adequately compensating our educators, for treating our paraprofessionals like we do, no one's going to want to come here. And also we need to look at the taxes. We expect someone, to relocate to Scranton. Well, they hear what the teachers are paid. They know, the taxes they have been raised 3.9%, within the middle of the pandemic. And there has been talk about the taxes being raised again. So I think that's just a really big turnoff for people that, would actually want to work in the district, but maybe just can't. I know it's hard for the people that live here already. Then we expect someone else to come here to work in the district, and we're just not offering anything to make it appealing. Also, with the district wanting to close Bancroft, 52% of the student population is Hispanic. So we're not looking out for the most vulnerable community. We are, basically taking them and putting them in another school, and they are losing their identity. That doesn't sit well with me. That doesn't sit well with the public. Everyone that I'm talking to, their voice isn't being heard. So we really need to do better, on every aspect, just making sure that change happens within the district. And then I think from that point on, once people see that change, it'll make the district more appealing altogether. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to thank those of you who are watching. This is the 4th segment of 5 segments. Forum sponsored by the League of Women Voters, the Political Science Department, in the Center for Ethics and Excellence in Public Service at the University of Scranton. Each candidate will have one more question to answer to complete the series, and we hope that you will have the time to watch all 5 segments. Thank you.